welcome back to the channel. And boy, it's been busy in these Married at First Sight season 9 Australia streets. Oh my goodness, stuff is coming out here, coming out there, and I want to keep you guys updated. But before we jump into this video, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and drop a comment down in the comment section below. So this is all about Dom's grand finale watch party that she had with some of her fellow castmates, which kind of turned into a hate Olivia party according to some fans. But we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's being said. But I first want to start out by what's going on and what Olivia posted yesterday and what's going on in her life. So take a listen and then we'll be back to talk about this watch party.
Here with Bert, who's having a tantrum, and having a big tantrum, and some lunatics have just pulled up outside my home, don't know how they got my address, and have screamed that I'm a cunt, I'm a rat, and I should die in a hole. So I've called my mum, I've called Jack, I've called the police, I've called Channel 9 security thing, and yeah, great. I can barely go out in public and now I can't even chill at home. Like, what the fuck do people want from me?
Okay, so that's what she had to say and what's happening. I guess somebody located her address and they were hurling insults. Yeah, that gotta be scary. But the problem is that because there's so many people that dislike her, they're now trying to call this a weak, feeble attempt to gain sympathy. And, that's so unfortunate that when you watch a show like this and you see what you see, people believe what they believe, it triggers people and put them in whatever mindset they're in regards to the show. Well, now we're on the outside of the show, and it seems that, a lot of stuff is going on, which is why I pay more attention to what happens outside, a lot more than what I pay attention pretty much and keep as entertainment on the show. Being that it's overly edited, spliced, frankenbited, all of the above. And you guys know what I'm talking about. So, but, of course, if this is happening, which I don't know if anybody truly make that up, but that's got to be a scary situation and nobody deserves that. Nobody on the cast, the experts, nobody deserve anything like that. And that happens even with some of the U.S. shows as well, and cast members. So it's so unfortunate. But I guess to add, insult to injury, if you want to describe it that way, we got to talk about Dom's grand finale watch party. So Dom had a grand finale watch party where there was Ella, Brent, also Al, and I think Al's mom was there as well, and of course Jack and Dominica. They pretty much were really trying to push this whole thing with Olivia, hence the poster in the background. However, there were quite a few Married at First Sight fans that thought that this was a little immature for her after she hosted what they describe as a hate party for Olivia, and saying that she's being just as bad as the other right now. So, she had a ton of support. I think her IG is now up to close to 250,000 followers. And so many people were rallying behind her. Because of the whole thing with the OnlyFans and Olivia and what we saw on the show. But some of the supporters are kind of giving a side eye to her after she hosted this anti-Olivia hate party at her parents' house on Sunday. As I mentioned, the guests were watching the finale screening, which, of course, was, attended by the co-stars that I mentioned previously. They were greeted with these custom-made signs showing nasty slogans about Olivia, saying we don't serve any Olivias. Dom wore a red t-shirt emblazoned with the words "My body, my choice," and she had the B word. And then, of course, Jack was supporting her. Ella was there, Brent and Al, as I said before, who also wore the shirts as well. One of the guests told Daily Mail Australia that it was pretty much one big I Hate Olivia party, which, they rallied around Dom, and of course they enjoyed, they said, watching the glass smashing video. So that's what one of the guests actually said. Dom was booing the screen every time Olivia came on, and everyone was just sticking up their middle fingers. And they added it was outright bullying. There was no respect for anyone or what they've been through. It was honestly just a big anti-Olivia and Tamara event. One of the fans on social media, now, they labeled Dom as being a bully, while another said the anti-Olivia posters were being really immature. And a lot of, the folks are saying, for someone who claims she can't stand bullying and was bullied her whole childhood, some of the fans were saying, you're doing a fabulous job of showing the otherwise. Another said it's bad enough that Olivia has to deal with the backlash from the show, but to have a poster of this sort shows the immaturity on your end. Another person wrote, Dom is as bad as Olivia, both, and they use DICK heads. Personally think editing made Dom look a lot nicer than she actually is. That was from a poster. And then there's a list out, you can see the actual comments that came from social media about this. And if you want to pause and read it, you can do that as well. And I mean, it even went on Instagram. There was a viewer there saying this is taking it too far. You don't fix bullying with bullying. You're sending the wrong message. Another fan wrote, guess who does live rent-free in Dom's head, or Dominica's head? And then, of course, she made it a whole lavish event. She spared no expense for the party, set up a whole marquee with a large projector for the guests, and, everything to watch the whole Married at First Sight reunion and everything. It's crazy. It's a crazy situation. My thing is, I do not like bullying at all. I don't tolerate it on my platforms. We can talk, we can have dialogue, but bullying, that's an absolute no-no. And in this case, what we saw on the show with Olivia as what it was being portrayed, absolutely ridiculous. And then on the flip side, especially on the outside of the experiment, there is no cameras, there is no editing. This is all them and what they did in regards to putting that back on her. Two wrongs don't make a right, and I've seen some of the other comments in support of what she's doing. And the thing is that as much as a lot of the fans hate what Olivia's done, you guys are going to support this in return and think it's revenge, karma, whatever. Whatever's going to come from this is going to come from this. However, to actually add to vitriol of the whole situation, I mean, it's out of control. And it didn't help when you got a bunch of angry, raving fans. We saw the video earlier of Olivia saying that, people showing up at her house. And now the show is over, and then you have something like this. It even adds more fuel to the fire after everything is supposedly done. These folks have a lot going for them at this point. Many of them have huge followings now. So, if this was such an issue to you guys on the show, do the best thing. The best revenge is success and happiness. That's the best revenge. Going to do exactly what that person did that you hate, it doesn't make you any better. And that's just my thoughts. I know some people might not agree with me, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But to say you hate bullying and then you turn around and you do it yourself, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. So That's just my thoughts. But we're not done yet because something else was pretty interesting at this party.
Go, guys. Well, what have you two been up to at Brent's house together?
Getting ready, you know what I mean?
Getting ready
Yeah.
for the big party tonight.
Yeah.
This is actually hers, you see. I'm dressed in her clothes
Yeah,
now.
that is mine.
Oh, wow.
Not
It's
bad,
better
huh?
on him though.
So it seems you two are spending a lot of time together now.
While I'm in Sydney, yeah, making the most of it.
So maybe there's some stuff to the rumours.
Which rumours? You mean Mitch and Tamara? But that's all I know.
I'm thinking Brent and Ella now.
Aren't they saying Team Brella?
Brella. Team Brella.
There's a lot of love for you two.
We've seen. It's actually, it's quite nice.
It is nice.
Is anything going to happen?
Well, guys, you know, we don't think
I
we're
mean-
we're just chilling.
Yeah.
Wait and
We
see.
are. We're just chilling.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Just doing a bit of Brella shit and that's it.
Severely hungover though, so I'm
Oh, yeah,
really
yeah.
struggling right now.
So Brent and Ella was seen looking real cozy with each other as they posed for a photo booth. They had earlier been seen leaving Brent's apartment, as we saw in that earlier video, before picking up Al and then hopping into a limo, which of course that took them over to Dominica's party. They were looking real into each other, into each other's eyes. Ella seen holding a little heart sign with the words "good vibes only," which was pretty ironic, especially given the type of party they were at. So, you know, who knows? I mean, it looks pretty interesting with those two. And you might ask, what happened to Mitch? Because they was all lovey-dovey at the dinner party and also at the grand finale with the experts, that they were pretty much back together. Well, there's an explanation for these two. So apparently she hadn't seen Mitch since the reunion in January, and they just started to drop off and fizzled out. She also said, I guess some articles had came out in the past couple months or so, and he cut her off. So yeah, it's over between Ella and Mitch at this point, which definitely leaves room for Brent and Ella. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for these two and keep my ears to the skies to try to see, you know, where these two are going to go. I think they would make a cute couple, but we'll have to see. And it's interesting because they jumped on Tamara for sliding in the Mitch's DMs, and now it looks like we saw Brent sliding into her jacket and her clothes, as we saw in the video of that short clip where he was saying he's wearing her clothes. So looking forward to seeing what happens with these two. So let me know, you guys, your thoughts on Dominica's watch party, where some are actually calling it an Olivia hate party. Whether this is justified, or do you feel that this is immature and that she pretty much needs to move on? You guys got my thoughts on it. Honestly, like I said, two wrongs don't make a right. You know, deplorable as what we saw on the show with Olivia, it's even more deplorable outside of cameras, editing, and everything else, that this is exactly what they're doing. And for me, it's not a good look. My thing is, success is the best revenge. So, you know, it seems as, and some people think Dominica got the better at it, because I will say at the grand finale in front of the experts, they did not recap the history that she had with Jack when they did recap the history of the other couples on the show. So I found that pretty interesting. So a lot of people was like, they pretty much focused when it came to them on what happened at the retreat and what happened, whether or not they're going to stay together in the future. So let me know your thoughts. I'm still going to do the live for the guys and gals that listen to me. We do a chat. So stay tuned for that, because we really got to unpack both episodes 36 and 37. And I'm going to leave you with this, because look like Al was hanging out with the sheep. Yeah, Al seemed to be just a kid at heart. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.